Friends, hello to all. Today I want to tell you about several stories told by Osama ibn Munqidh in his book, Edifications. By the way, Osama was a participant in many battles and clashes with the Crusaders. He often came into contact with them in civilian life. Some researchers perceived his stories about the Franks and their customs as truth, although recently many have recognized the frankly humorous nature of part of his story. They can be called historical anecdotes. In general, Muslims at that time treated Europeans, and in particular the Crusaders, to put it mildly, with condescension. They noted their rudeness, low morals, and especially the lack of personal hygiene. In principle, they were not far from the truth. And even when some of the Franks, as Muslims called them, adopted their habits and traditions, literature continued to ridicule Europeans. Osama ibn Munqidh brought some of his stories to the point of outright farce and harshly ridiculed typical stereotypes about Europeans. Let's look at 3 such stories. One day a merchant returned home and found a man lying next to his wife in his bed. "Why next to my wife?" he asked him. "I was tired," the stranger answered, "and came here to rest." "How did you end up in my bed?" the merchant continued. "I saw that the bed had been sent," the man answered, "and lay down on it." "But your wife is lying with you, isn't she?" the merchant exclaimed. "The bed is hers," the man answered. "How could you not let her into your own bed?" "I swear by the truth of my faith," Frank exclaimed, "if you do this again, you and I will quarrel." This was the manifestation of his displeasure and the highest degree of jealousy. Another example. We had a bathhouse attendant from the people of Al-Mara named Salim who served in the baths of my father, may Allah have mercy on him. Salim told me, "I opened a bathhouse in Al-Mara to live on its income. One day a Frankish knight came to the bathhouse, and they do not approve of those who gird themselves with a veil while in the bathhouse. He stretched out his hand, tore my veil from my belt, threw it aside, and saw me naked. And I had recently shaved my pubic hair." "Salim!" Frank shouted to me. I went up to him and he put his hand on my pubis. "Salim, that's good," he exclaimed. "I swear by the truth of my faith. Do the same to me." And he lay down on his back, and in that place he had exactly a second beard. I shaved him, and he ran his hand over that place, stroked it, and said to me, "Oh Salim, I conjure you by the truth of your faith. Do the same with Aldama." And Aldama means mistress in their language, and he meant his wife. "Tell Aldama to come," he shouted to his servant, who went and brought his wife. She lay down on her back, and the knight said, "Do with her what you did with me." And I shaved her hair, and her husband sat and looked at me. Then he thanked me and gave me money for it. Here is another incident similar to this. One day when I was in the city of Tyre, I entered the bath and sat there in a separate room. One of my servants said to me, "There is a woman with us in the bath." When I went out into the common room and sat down on a stone bench, suddenly the woman who had been in the bath appeared and stood opposite me. She had already dressed and was standing with her father. I was not sure that it was a woman, and I said to one of my comrades, "For the sake of Allah, look, is it a woman? I want you to inquire about her." He went and lifted the hem of her dress in front of me, and I looked. Then her father turned to me and said, "This is my daughter, her mother died, she has no one to wash her hair. I brought her with me to the bathhouse and washed her hair myself." "You did well," I said, "for this you will be rewarded in heaven." As we see in these stories, Europeans are portrayed as outright idiots, to whom Osama attributes the following traits: disrespect for traditions, lack of knowledge of etiquette, accessibility of women, lack of jealousy, and so on. Even the girl's father thinks it is normal for a strange man to approach her daughter and lift the hem of her dress. What do you think? Could such a story really happen, or is it still a humorous story?